You have seen Kripa teaching. Now I would like you to listen to more of the interview I had with my daughter. Pay close attention to the verbs we used in the video. After the clip, I'll ask you questions to check your understanding. Kripa, is it your board or hand down to you by your sister?
This is my toy.
Alright, what do you do?
I teach phonics.
Okay, what are you doing these days?
I make video lessons of my phonics.
Alright. Okay, is this your lesson book?
Yep. What are you doing?
I'm looking at your lesson right now.
That's
Okay, do you
great.
like making videos?
Yes,
Alright. Why?
because I want to be India's youngest phonics teacher.
Great, amazing. I'm really waiting for the day to come.
Me too.
Here is my questions for you. I asked Kripa, is her board on? She answered, yes, it is her own. It is not handed down to her by her sister. I inquired her about what is she doing these days. In response, she said, she is making video lessons these days. She asked me, what are you doing? I replied, I'm looking at your lesson. Let's take a look at the verbs we have used. Is making. We have two verb tenses here, but they both are present tense, aren't they? Is helping, is making. We have present simple and present progressive. Why is each tense used here? Let's think about that. If you recall from our previous lesson that the simple present is used to state the facts and conditions and feelings. So this explains the use of simple present in the first sentence. It is her own board, not the hand-down one. A fact, a general truth about her life. Present progressive is most often used to express an action or event which is in progress at the moment of speaking. For example, I said, I'm looking at your chapter. At that moment, I was looking at the chapter. Now, if you consider the third example, she is making video lessons of her phonic lessons. So what is this? The present progressive could also be used to express an action or event which is in progress and finish at some time in the future. But right now, it is in progress and it is unfinished. Let me show you another use of present progressive. This use is less common, but it is common enough that you will hear in conversation. For example, I say Lavanya is very creative, energetic, and she is very good at speaking and teaching English. She likes to spend time teaching English. We could say she is always busy teaching and her dad is constantly reminding her not to overlook other subjects like all dads. Here we have two examples of present progressive. We have the form of be and we have the verb in ing form, that is the present participle. And along with these present progressive, you must have noticed that there are adverbs of frequency, high frequency, always, constantly. So we can use the present progressive with these kinds of adverbs of frequency to emphasize the frequency of an action or an event. And these actions are the part of people's characters. Lavanya is always busy teaching. Her dad is constantly reminding her about other subjects. So these are habitual action. They could be positive, but often they are negative. These are the action that annoys other people, like constant reminder from her dad. I want to give you one more example. Suppose you are a student and you are in habit of coming late to the class. Your teacher would end up complaining to your parent and would say like this, he is always coming late to the class. Remember, we use present progressive for action or events in progress at the moment of speaking. For unfinished actions or events in the present. We can also use present progressive for present habits or customs to emphasize frequency, and we do this with the help of adverbs of frequency. Let's also review how we form the present progressive. The present progressive uses the present form of be and the present participle, that is ing form of the verb. Let's use teach as an example, and it will be like I am teaching, he is teaching, she is teaching, you are teaching, we are teaching, and they are teaching. And of course, contractions are also possible. So I am will be am, he is will be his, she is will be she's, and so on. You are, we are, and they are. Let's remember the spelling rules. We drop the final silent E before adding ing. For example, I'm dancing, you are dancing, and they are dancing. We have dropped this final E and we have added ing. Clear enough? So when a verb ends in a consonant vowel consonant pattern in a stretched syllable, we double the final consonant before adding ing. So in this case, if we have taken an example of sit, we have doubled this letter T and we'll say like she is sitting, he is sitting, and we are sitting. And finally, let's recall the negative forms. We use the negative form of be in the present plus the present participle, that is ing form of the verb. And for example, I'm not working today, she is not teaching right now. Again, contractions are also possible. She isn't teaching right now. So to answer to yes no question, for example, are you studying? We use full form in the affirmation and often we use contractions for the negative answers. Now look at these two examples. Do you see the verbs? Present progressive, simple present. Now which of these two verbs expresses an action? Yes, if you have thought of the first one, you're right again. I'm looking at something. I'm doing something. It is the action in progress right now. Now look at the second example. Lavanya looks happy. Looks expresses a state, a condition. It has the same meaning as Lavanya seems happy, Lavanya appears happy. Now could we take these two verbs and put them into the present progressive and say she is appearing happy, she is seeming happy? No, that's because normally non-action verbs that expresses a state or condition do not appear in present progressive. There will be an exception, but that's the general rule, and the verb look is so special. So there is a small number of verbs that can express both a state and express an action in the present. Use the simple present to express present states or conditions. Non-action verbs are not normally used in the present progressive, and a small number of verbs express both an action and a state. For example, look, taste, smell. Let's consider another important differences. Look at these pair of sentences. Read with me. It is difficult to make a new lesson. My daughter is being so difficult lately. I sometimes have trouble with my grammar. I'm having some trouble with verb tenses. They live in Delhi. He is living with his parents. Now, in each pair, which sentences has an example of simple present? The first, correct. What do these three sentences have in common? I mean to say these three sentences. They all represent a fact, a general truth. That means the second sentence in each pair is an example of present progressive. And what do these three verbs have in common? What do they express? These verbs in the present progressive suggest that something is temporary. It is not usual case, but it is happening right now. Let's do an exercise. The following exercise will test your understanding of the difference between the simple present and the present progressive. Mehar practiced the harmonium. Listen, she's really good. Answer is, Mehar is practicing the harmonium. Listen, she's really good. Well, I'm asking you to listen right now. That means the present progressive is the better choice. Number 2, Mehar practiced on the harmonium every evening. Answer, practices. Mehar practices on the harmonium every evening. It is a habit. It is a regularly occurring event. Number 3. Lavanya, you seem so calm. Don't you get nervous before performances? Answer: seem. Seem is a non-action verb, so we are describing a state or condition in the present. Number 4. Shh, I listened to a recording I made last night. Guess quickly. I'm listening to a recording I made last night. This is the action in progress, and that suggests the use of present progressive. I and my daughter make lessons together. We are almost done. Answer: are making. It is an unfinished action. I and my daughter usually have an easy time working together, but today for some reason we have some difficulty agreeing on what time we start. Answer: have. Okay, that's a general truth or what happens regularly. But here we are having. That suggests that is temporary, not usually this happens. We do not disagree usually, right? We usually agree with each other. Mehar, accomplished artist. Answer is, this is a fact. Lavanya teach the phonics just fine for an 8-year-old girl. You be unfair with the criticism. Why are you comparing Lavanya to professional teachers? Answer: teaches. Lavanya teaches phonics. This is an example of general truth. You are being unfair with your criticism is an unusual behavior. The speaker meant to say you are not usually unfair, but with criticism and comparison that you are making, now you are being unfair. Mehar always listened to her favorite singer. You will never find her without a set of earphones. Answer: is always listening. This is an example of present habit or a custom. It is done with such high frequency, we know it's a part of her character. She's always doing this. Well, that's all for this lesson. Thanks for joining me. I hope you'll continue to watch this series to learn about other verb tenses. Happy studies, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.